Margao IMA with discussion on the post-COVID, but this time with a different speciality. It is pulmonology today, and as I have already mentioned in the earlier videos, this information is basically to educate people at large and our viewers about what is happening in the post-COVID period. That is, once a patient has suffered from COVID, we have seen that there are a lot of complications that are coming up, and this is to make people aware of all these complications and when to seek help. That means when they should approach the doctor. They should not take it lying down. So this is only to make people aware and educate them. So today here we are with Dr. Praveen Bhatt, who is a very well-known pulmonologist from Margao. Not just from Margao, he is well known in Goa and also in India because he's been doing a lot of work in chest, TB and chest. And today I shall be talking to him mainly with a thrust on lung complications of COVID. So here we are, Praveen. Would you throw some light? This basically is to educate people, to make people aware of what is happening. In your experience, and
definitely. Post-COVID is one of the things which I think everybody should know, that after 4 to 6 weeks of a COVID illness, normally that is what we define as post-COVID. Most of the time, weakness, loss of taste, loss of smell, these are minor things which recover with time and which really don't require your attention. But somebody getting an infection, bacterial infections are very common in post-COVID lung because of the damaged lungs. They harbor a lot of bacteria and which can proliferate and give rise to infection. So anybody with a new onset fever, with a lot of cough, lot of dyspnea, that is breathlessness, one definitely needs to visit for a proper antibiotic course.
So
again,
this is basically post-COVID.
Yeah, I'm talking about post-COVID.
Yeah, and that normally happens after how long? After
see, basically, even during COVID itself, we see a lot of bacterial infection. That's how most of the patients are on antibacterial cover. Because as we know, the viral phase is for first week, second week it's all inflammatory phase, and that is where the lungs are also weak and they are prone for secondary infections. And post-COVID also, those who have suffered a lot of lung damage, especially those who have done a CT scan and know about the CT severity score being more than, let's say, moderate to severe, more than 15, those are the ones which will have a lot of lung damage or post-COVID sequelae, what we call them, persisting for a long consequence, persisting for a longer period, and they are the ones who are prone for the secondary infections.
So basically, when you say secondary infections, I would just like to tell my viewers that it is basically a kind of a bacterial infection, a kind of an infection that you have.
Even fungal infections are not common. Some of the patients, we have even seen TB cases coming up, TB getting flared up. So I think we have to keep in mind, and that is where one needs to consult a proper doctor for a proper guidance.
So basically, you would like to tell, we would like to tell our viewers that it is, if you develop again cough, fever, and sort of breathlessness, and and any such things, you have to again approach the doctor, because it could be any of these conditions like flaring up of the tuberculosis or fungal infection, or again another type of a chest infection post-COVID. And I think this happens mainly because of the treatment or because of the disease itself.
Absolutely. In fact, if we know the treatment in COVID itself is, we use a lot of steroids in the inflammatory stage. I think that's a lifesaver drug. But it's again a double-edged weapon, as we know that can again lead to your reduced immunity, and one is prone for secondary infections. So one part is infections. I think we'll stop here on infections.
Are these infections all treatable?
Yes, very well. One has to make a proper diagnosis and give proper treatment, whether it's an antifungal drug or whether it's an antibacterial, higher antibiotics.
So antibiotics.
Absolutely. I think all of these infections are very much treatable.
And would any of these people require admission? It depends on the severity.
Depends on the severity. Yeah, definitely it will depend on the severity. The second complication what we see is post-COVID problem is usually most of the patients do very well on recovery, but some of them, they have breathlessness on exertion, they maintain low oxygen saturation. Some of them may require home oxygen therapy, and that is where you need a repeat CT scan to ascertain what is the damage. And post-COVID lung fibrosis is a very common problem, and it has to be diagnosed early. In fact, some of the patients who are little elderly, those with a very high CT severity score, we put them on anti-fibrotic with the intention of preventing a lot of post-COVID fibrosis happening, and those patients with post-COVID fibrosis require a little special attention in terms of pulmonary rehabilitation, and maybe they require home oxygen therapy as well.
I'll just interrupt you over here. When we say post-COVID fibrosis, what it means in very simple terminology is the lung is like a balloon. So when this fibrosis happens, it becomes smaller. It loses its capacity to expand. So with each breath, what happens is our lung expands. So the fibrotic lung, it loses its capacity to expand.
Exactly.
And this makes you breathless. This doesn't allow enough of oxygenation and that makes you breathless.
In simple language, what I like to say is, basically lung has no power of regeneration. Lung will always heal with scarring. That is scarring, we call it as fibrosis. So once we use some anti-fibrotic drugs and some anti-inflammatory drugs, this fibrosis can be limited or it can reverse too. In fact, most of the patients with good anti-fibrotic drugs for maybe 2 or 3 months, what has been found that maybe 80 to 90% of the cases they do very well. Very few percentage they progress very badly. So these are the patients who require maybe continuous oxygen therapy at home, and some of them maybe even have to refer them for a lung transplant.
Oh,
yes, I think it can be that bad. So from a simple fibrosis, that's why what we say is, don't neglect your lung fibrosis. Diagnose early, initiate the treatment early, so that you have a very fruitful outcome.
Yeah, and Dr. Praveen, will physiotherapy in the sense of breathing exercises, does it help?
Absolutely, absolutely. We talk about pulmonary rehabilitation as a composite thing in these patients. It starts right from maybe simple breathing exercises, use of incentive spirometers, and we have our physiotherapy department also helping out these patients in teaching them different breathing exercises. It can be maybe twice in a week. You have maybe 2 hour schedule, and then patient has to perform this the exercises at home. It is basically, these are graded exercises. One has to start slowly and build up. I think that is the way you can.
Another thing, Dr. Praveen, is many cases that we see now who are coming up with fever. You know, there has been no fever for a long time, and suddenly the patients are coming back with fever. Some people are saying that they're feeling breathless again. So what do you feel?
We have already spoken about infections, but remember, new onset of fever again is not every time because of an infection. What we say is inflammation can also flare up in COVID. That's what we describe as a long COVID syndrome or post-COVID complications. I think this is one of the common reasons why patients would feel little lethargic, malaise persists, they feel little weak, and sometimes they have some sort of low-grade fever. Again, we need to do a marker like a C-reactive protein, CRP.
So basically some blood tests.
Blood tests are required. Absolutely, absolutely. I think that would give us a proper
a clue to what is happening in your body.
Correct.
So just to get an overall picture. Most of the one of the commonest post-COVID complication in medical field today has been the problem of the lung. So a lot of people are coming with lung fibrosis and breathlessness, difficulty in walking, difficulty in doing their routine.
I would like to interrupt you here. In this second wave, we have come across a lot of cases of pulmonary embolism as well, not to forget.
Okay, so I think could you put it in
this is what happens basically.
What is pulmonary embolism?
The COVID is considered to be a thrombotic disease as well, in the sense there is a tendency for clotting actually. So maybe 1 or 2 blood clots can go to the lungs and cause something called as pulmonary. They block the pulmonary vasculature, so the blood supply and everything gets cut off, and you can get something called as pulmonary thromboembolism. Patient becomes acutely dyspneic. They have a lot of tachycardia, breathing difficulty, the pulse rate shoots up, and they are the ones who require immediate attention and some drugs to dissolve this clot.
So I think a lot many younger which has been affected, I think they are showing a lot of signs of this, what you call is, because COVID is known to cause blood clots in the circulation in our body, and these blood clots can go and block any vessel in the
Correct.
body.
So in the coronaries, we have
so
seen
when it
commonly.
happens in the heart,
Yes.
the patient is coming with a heart attack
Absolutely.
and sudden collapse.
Absolutely.
Of the patient.
We have seen strokes as well.
Exactly. When it happens in the brain, the patients just fall down, or they have weakness of one side.
Correct.
And things like that, or a brain hemorrhage. And when it happens in the lung, in medical terminology, we call it pulmonary embolism, which by itself is a medical emergency. So the patient has suddenly he feels very breathless. There is increase in the pulse rate, and we have to rush these patients immediately to the hospital so that he can be saved. So such complications, we are now seeing more and more of such complications, especially in the younger people, who have been between 30 to 45 or 30 to 50 years of
Absolutely.
age.
And obesity. I think one risk factor which needs to be addressed is obesity.
Is obesity. Because what we have seen during this COVID phase is those people who have been obese, overweight, they have fared very badly.
Absolutely.
Like some people who have been, even despite, even without comorbidities. Comorbidities, we say diabetes, hypertension, but just obesity or overweight by itself is a comorbidity. So we would like to, to summarize the whole thing to our viewers. What I would like to tell you all is post-COVID lung complications. Whenever you feel breathless, whenever you are not able to do simple activities, or your heart rate increases, or any such things, or if you present with fever again, please don't take it lightly. These are some of the post-COVID complications that we have seen. You could be coming back with a chest infection, or it could be a simple inflammatory phase, which is because of COVID itself. It could be fungal infections. It could be a flare-up of the tuberculosis, which is very common in our country. There's nothing to worry about it. But the bottom line is you have to see a doctor. Don't take it lying down, because then the things can get complicated. Another thing is, if the breathlessness continues,
yes,
I think you need to see a doctor to evaluate your chest again, to evaluate your lungs again. So maybe we need to do a repeat scan and decide to put on further treatment. Next, what as Dr. Praveen has said, that breathing exercises for the people who have had bad COVID,
yes,
and where the lung was affected. But then it has to be done in a proper scientific manner, under proper guidance. And I think because of that, today what we require for COVID is a holistic approach. Not just, you treat it and then you forget it. But I think now what we have been seeing in the medical field is post-COVID support to the patient. So it has to be a holistic approach of the doctor, of the support staff at home, of the patient, then the physiotherapy.
Yeah.
So it's a collective effort of everybody. So again, these things are very much known. Again, as Dr. Praveen has said, because the COVID itself is, by nature, it can cause blood clots. Be aware of this. The whole reason why we are here today is to tell our viewers that these are the problems which are not talked about, where people are not aware. So the whole idea is to tell you all, to make you all aware that these are the things that are existing. So please make use of this information that we have brought to you.
Yeah.
And anytime you have such issues, please do not hesitate, get back to your doctor so that your help can be reached in time and a patient can be saved. Thank you so much, Dr. Praveen, for giving your time and being over here. Thanks from IMA Margao. You are a member yourself.
Absolutely.
So thank you once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.